Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to part 2 of my annual top cider producers list of 2020. Obviously, last video I did the 2211, which if you've not checked it out, please do before you watch this video because you're missing out on some fantastic cider companies on this list. I'm not going to explain what this list is about, just watch that and you'll find out all the stipulations and everything. But for those coming back in, welcome back, and yeah, the top 10. These are the creme de la creme of this year. So, what has made the list? Well, what I will say is obviously there are no new cider producers for this top 10, so it's just going to be a case of companies moving up, moving down, and if you've been paying attention over the years, well, you might know which ones they are. So, let's find out what the number one spot is, shall we? But let's start off with number 10. They were 11th last year, so they've gone up a position with an average rating of 8.0. It is the guys from New Zealand. It is Pekoms Cider Company. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Big thanks to Eric Bryan for giving me the chance to sample some of their cider range. But I mean, as you can see, they've got a lot more besides that. I highly doubt I'm going to be able to get a chance to try any more of their range out unless I get them from a specific online shop. But you know what? I think they're actually very much worth it, for sure. Just fantastic range of flavours and complexities, and again, these seem to be a bit of an experimental company, delving into things which push the boundaries of what go into a cider. So, yeah, if you're based in New Zealand, then you are definitely missing out if you're not trying the Pekoms range of ciders out. They are very much worth it. So, kicking off the top 10 with 8.0, it is Pekoms Cider Company. Now, number 9 also scored an 8.0 for me, and they were 10th last year, so again, they've gone up a position. But you know what? I've put them slightly higher than Pekoms. No real reason, really. I mean, you know, it's sort of like just comparing the very, like, wafer thin the border between these, but I don't know, I just prefer these ones just ever so slightly more. So with an average score of 8.0, it is the Pulp Cider Company. Yeah, Pulp, fantastic labels. Once again, all these cider companies are producing some fantastic labelling for their ciders. I particularly like the little graph on the back of these bottles, which shows basically the flavour scale of what to expect from this cider. You know, is it sweet? Is it dry? Fruity? Oaky? The graph shows it. But yeah, clean, simple labelling on the front, but you can definitely tell them apart, and every single one of these has been just great. I think my personal favourite of these three was their Union. That was the one that definitely stuck out for me. But yeah, there's a cider for every occasion with the Pulp Cider Company, so definitely check them out. They are very much worth it. I do believe they have released a new cider very recently, so I'm going to have to keep my eyes peeled out for that one. And you never know, they might be going up on the list as well. So, 9th place goes to Pulp. Now, 8th place. These guys have been on the list basically since the very beginning. And once again, a great company that has sent over some of their ciders for me to try, which is fantastic of them. They were 9th last year, so again they've gone up a place, but with an average rating of 8.16, they are slightly better than the previous ones. And it is the Turner's Cider Company, based in Marden, Kent. Now, we talk about simplistic label designs. This is about as simplistic as it comes. It literally just says the company name, the cider variety, where they're based, and the percentage. But to be fair, that's all you really need to know for a cider, to be honest. Again, Turner's have got a fantastic range of ciders out there. You've got the classic medium sweet, medium dry, but they've also got infused ciders as well. They've got a rhubarb one, they've got an elderflower, I believe. Could be wrong. They've got a mulled one, a mulled cider out there. They could have a ginger one too. I could be wrong in that one, but yeah, they've got definitely a great variety of different ciders with it, and they are all just as good as one another. Some of them do pack a punch as well. I swear they had a russet cider which was like 8%, so they're definitely not pulling no punches with the strength on these ones. But yeah, simplistic design, but fantastic ciders inside, and that's obviously why they've got 8th position with 8.16. It's the Turners Cider Company. Now, seventh place. Now, these guys are a non-mover. They were 7th last year, and they're 7th this year. But I would imagine that they are going to change next year as well, because I've got another 3 of their range to try. With an average rating of 8.5 in 7th place, it's the Garden Cider Company. Now, the Garden Cider Company, I like their ciders, obviously. I like their infused range of ciders and everything, but the one thing that I do like about this, and any company that does this, is that they essentially use surplus apples or apples that are going to be going to waste in their ciders, which is a fantastic initiative, and it just helps out with reducing, unnecessary waste, especially like in the cider community. So big props to them for doing that. And the apples that go into these ciders are fantastic too. Their vintage is a great vintage. Their dry hopped was one of the first hopped ciders that I got to try, but I would actually say it's probably one of my favourites that I've ever tried. Now, from this, look at all those different ones. There's just so many different varieties they do. But I've still got their raspberry and rhubarb, strawberry and blueberry infused ciders to try. So these 3 here. Whoa, wrong one. Yeah, so keep an eye out for those reviews next year. And I would imagine that Garden Cider Company are definitely going to be changing on the list. Well, for better or for worse, we shall have to wait and see, won't we? But for now, in 7th place, once again, with 8.5, it's the Garden Cider Company. And so in 6th place, we have another non-mover. These guys were 6th last year as well, and they just barely miss out on being an average rating of 9.0. With an average rating of 8.9, it's the Crohn's Cider Company. Now, these guys were one of the originals, I would say. Before I even started doing reviewing, when I first started going to beer and cider festivals, Crohn's Cider is one of the companies that was always there. Without a doubt, if you went to a beer or cider festival, you would have a Crohn's Cider of some sort available in bag-in-the-box. And yeah, they've all just been superb. And then I realised that they also do a bottled range. And I was like, get in my belly. Their rum cask is probably one of the most potent, strongest ciders that I've ever sipped. Literally, they do not pull any punches when it comes to adding the rum-infused flavour to it. Some would probably say it's overpowering, but you know what? Because it's 8.5% as well, I don't mind. You know what you're going in for with that sort of strength. But to be fair, most of their ciders are pretty strong. I mean, their original and special reserve here are 7.4% as well. So yeah, they do like making strong ciders. And if that's your cup of tea, you will love Crohn's Cider. And obviously I do, because they're in 6th place with 8.9. So well done, Crohn's. Now we're into the top 5. Here we go, top 5 time. So in 5th place now, unfortunately, I say unfortunately, they're still a fantastic company, but these guys have actually dropped a couple of places. They were 3rd last year, and they've gone down to 5th. With an average rating of 8.93, it is Big Nose and Beardy. Now, I make it sound like I'm absolutely going to slate this company, but I'm not, because let's be honest, an average rating of 8.93 is absolutely superb. Yeah, Big Nose and Beardy, again, look at that range of ciders that they do. I haven't done half of these ones, because they are just continuously bringing out new varieties and new, well, depending on like the different seasons and everything. They sort of have a core range with like their bit of oomph and hedgerow, but then you've got like seasonal ones like Early Doors. I've never even heard of that one before, but apparently it's a medium sweet cider. Never heard of that. But yeah, their Katie Oak single variety is a seasonal one. Turning Japanese, I only recently reviewed. Their Cock Hazy, again, another superb, and they all come in these really rather fetching and cool looking dinky 330ml bottles, which is, yeah, they just look fantastic, especially when you've got them lined up like that. So yeah, Big thanks to Big Nose and Beardy for sending over 6 of their ciders for me to try as well. Again, a fantastic company. I believe it's actually just 2 guys that essentially run it, and they clearly know how to make cider for sure. So keep an eye out for Big Nose and Beardy. They are definitely a fantastic company. So yeah, well done Big Nose and Beardy. You're still in the top 5. And to be fair, I have still got a couple of yours to try. So you're probably going to change next year as well. So watch this space. So in 4th place, they were 5th last year. So they've dropped down a space. But I mean, when we talk about originals, I mean, I did say that Crohn's was one of the originals in beer and cider festivals, but Gwatkin Cider Company was essentially my original real cider company that got me into ciders. With an average rating of 9.0, it's the Gwatkin Cider Company. Yeah, these guys have been in since the very beginning. They're Yarlington Mill. I mean, I've said it before, I've said it before on previous lists. The Yarlington Mill single variety was my favourite cider of all time for many, many years. It took a lot for me to find a cider that could even come close to beating the Yarlington Mill single variety. What I will say is that Gwatkin ciders aren't going to be for everybody. They definitely do have a very distinct taste to them, but thankfully, it's a taste that definitely sits well with me. I can't see Gwatkin Cider Company going out of the top 5 anytime soon, especially seeing as the fact that, I mean, I've done about 4. I think I've done about 4 of those ciders that are on that range. There's definitely a lot more ciders from Gwatkin that I can try. And do you know what? I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, their Kingston Black single variety, again, a fantastic single variety cider from them. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to trying out the rest of their range. I might have to do an online shop and get some bottles, to be fair, but I'll probably have to wait until my cider supplies diminish, to be fair. But for now, Gwatkin are 4th place with 9.0. Oh, sorry, they have actually climbed. Sorry, they haven't dropped, they've climbed. So there we go. 4th place is Gwatkin's. Right, here we go. Top 3. Has anything changed? Well, let's find out. In 3rd place, they were 4th last year. So these guys have climbed a position with an average rating of 9.05. Again, Ivor and Susie, they are the fantastic people. They've sent me so many of their range to try, and I'm just so appreciative for them to do so because their ciders are just absolutely fantastic. I'm talking about Dunkerton's Cider Company. Yeah, I mean, I've praised these guys to the hilt all the time. Their range is just, it is just exquisite. And the great thing is, their Black Fox you can get in local Waitrose stores, which is fantastic. I actually do believe it's now available in Sainsbury's stores as well. I believe I did see that there, so that's great. I'm so happy to see that Dunkertons are like stretching out there. They're projecting themselves more because they are definitely worth it. And the great thing is, Black Fox is sort of a great introductory cider to their range, but then once you actually delve deeper into them, they've got so many better ones than Black Fox. Not saying that Black Fox is a bad cider by any stretch of the imagination, but like their Breakable Seedling single variety, their Brown single variety, and their Kingston Black. What a fantastic cider that was. Not going to be everyone's cup of tea because it was incredibly dry, but they just know how to make cider. Susie and Ivor Dunkerton, keep on doing the great work. You're doing a fantastic job, and that's why you're in the top 3 with 9.05. That's the Dunkerton's Cider Company. So, the top 2. Here we go. This is, if you've been paying attention over the last few years, you'll know what the number 1's going to be. But number 2, with an average rating of 9.12, they were 2nd last year. So it's another non-mover, but with an average rating of 9.12, it is Wallis Real Somerset Cider. Now, what I will say is that, like a lot of the companies on this list, they have just rebranded themselves. What I say rebranded, they've relabel themselves. I mean, I really did love their labeling, but I've seen their latest labeling, and actually I was a little bit controversial to begin with because I didn't like it at first, but it's definitely growing on me, and I actually do feel that it is a better label design than these ones. It just has more character and definitely makes them stand out more. So yeah, Neil Worley, bless him, he was like, really do hope I make the top this year. Well, do you know what? Next year you might very well do that, because Neil very kindly sent me a bottle of his special reserve Keeved cider to try out, which I'm hopefully going to save for a special occasion, maybe my wedding anniversary or something like that. But yeah, I would say that is most likely going to be a game changer with the with the top spot. So you're going to have to keep an eye peeled out for that, because, well, you can't really get much better than 9.12, because honestly, all of Wally's ciders are just superb quality. Every single one of them, Harvest Moon, Red Hen, Beatnik Billy, Mendip Hills, you name it, they're all superb. So I am very much looking forward to trying out that special reserve out. I've been wanting to try it for years, and now I'm going to finally be able to get a chance to do it. So big thank you to Neil for sending that over, and yeah, look out next year. Who knows, you might be on the top spot. But with an average rating of 9.12 in second place, it's Wally's Cider Company. And so, if you've been paying attention, you know that the top spot hasn't changed again. For 3 years running, they were first last year, they were first the year before that. So with an average rating of 9.33, I mean, you can't get much higher a rating than that from me. But with an average rating of 9.33, it's once again Burrow Hill Cider Company. What else can I say? Yeah, fantastic. Just a superb company. It's just a real shame that they're not as prevalent on social media. I said that last year as well. I really wish that they were more prevalent on social media, because they need to know just how great their cider. Well, I'm sure they know how great their ciders are, but they are some of the best ciders that I've ever tried, for sure. And as you can see from this, they don't just do ciders. They do a whole range of things. They do an ice cider. They've got a Pomona, which is sort of like an interim between cider brandy and cider. It's sort of like a dessert cider, I suppose you could say, which looks fantastic. And they've got a whole range of cider brandies out there as well. I believe that one is their 5-year-old, which is the cheapest of the range, but yeah, still a little bit on the pricier side. Yeah, I've not tried their cider brandies out, but I'm so close to getting some while I was over in Somerset just last month, actually. But I held out because I'd already bought like 10 bottles of cider. So yeah, their cider bus, their Perry, and their Somerset, Burrow Hill Somerset cider. They're just, oh my goodness me, words cannot describe how fantastic they were. So yeah, well done, Burrow Hill. You've made the top spot again this year. Is anything going to change in 2021? Well, as I said, I've got Wally's Special Reserve to try out, so that could shake things up a bit. But not just that, next year, or just in these next few months, not just next year, but you've got the likes of, I've got another Sandford Orchards to try. I've got Cornish Orchards. I've not had them for a while, and that's the third one on the list, so they're going to be a new company onto the list. I've got more garden ciders to try. I've got more Big Nose and Beardies to try. I've got new companies as well. I've got Haywood Farm. I've got 3 of their range to do. So yeah, I have got a lot of new ciders that are going to shake up this list next year. So look out for that. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this countdown. Are there any cider companies that have been grossly omitted from the list? If they are, let me know, because I always like trying out new companies. But for now, well done again, Burrow Hill. Are you going to be first for 4 years running? Let's find out in 2021. But until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next cider drinker review soon. Take care, guys. Until next time.